All right, let's do it. It's Weather for Weather Geeks Tuesday evening edition. Hopefully you caught my live stream on Facebook and on YouTube just after the 6 o'clock newscast this evening. We did about a half an hour on Facebook and YouTube with the warnings that we had out for parts of our area. I want to start out this evening with a picture shared on Twitter of, this is 422 in Niles, not far from the mall. Nice shelf cloud action going on there. We had a couple of nice shelf cloud pictures shared with us this evening. The other big science story today, of course, we had a total eclipse. Unfortunately, not around here. We still got to wait a few years. Got to wait until 2024, actually. But down in South America, in Chile, at this observation, what a fantastic sight that was. A total eclipse. And no doubt you've seen some video and some pictures of this in other locations today. Kind of a similar scene to what we had in the U.S. just a little under 2 years ago, back in 2017. All right, back here at home. Remember yesterday morning, if you were up early, it was in the 50s, it felt refreshing. Then it got pretty toasty yesterday afternoon. Well, last night it hardly cooled off, down to about 70. And then today we actually made it to 91 degrees in between hours. Our third 90-degree temperature of the season so far. Remember, our average is about 8 or 9, and I kind of think we'll be around average for the year. I don't think we're going to see the kind of numbers we had last year. We had 18 90-degree plus days last year. Don't think this year we'll see as many. All right, we had quite a bit of wind damage across the Buckeye State today and out across west central and central PA as well. Lots of problems with trees snapped and trees down and power lines affected from Sandusky over towards Lorain and then down to the Worcester and Mansfield area into the Canton, Dover, New Philly area as well. And thankfully, we primarily in our area missed out on a lot of the severe weather today. We did have a couple of warnings earlier, but this kind of weakened some as it pushed into our television viewing area and then kind of congealed into a much more impressive looking line again down towards Interstate 70 as of 7:44 this evening. We have more showers and storms kind of loosely organized off to our north and west across northern end of Lake Erie, heading over into parts of the Detroit metro area and back towards Grand Rapids as well. Now, as we head through the overnight tonight, this loosely organized stuff could meander on down. I don't think the severe weather risk is all that high, but in the wee hours of your Wednesday morning, yeah, you might hear some thunder and be woken up by a quick thunderstorm in a couple of spots. Should be out of our hair by tomorrow morning. And as we go into Wednesday, kind of a similar setup to today. What we have is a warm, humid air mass. Now, I think it'll be a little bit cloudier on Wednesday, and so temperatures probably won't reach the heights we got to today. I don't think we'll see 90 tomorrow, but mid-80s should do it. And with a stationary boundary not far away and plenty of humidity to wring out of the atmosphere, yeah, there can be some randomly placed thunderstorms and showers here and there starting around lunchtime and taking us into the afternoon. Now, tomorrow's severe weather outlook, highlighted by the Storm Prediction Center, a little bit farther south than today, close to our area in the low-end risk. I think the overall risk is fairly similar for us tomorrow. A lot of pretty garden variety stuff, but a pesky borderline severe thunderstorm, I can't rule that out on Wednesday, even though, again, most of this will be pretty garden variety. Now, 4th of July is coming up on Thursday. A lot of people have the day off. A lot of people have outdoor plans. And here's what I want you to know. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. Yes, you might have to duck out of the way of a thunderstorm a couple of times as we get into the afternoon. Now, severe weather, damaging winds, large hail, that's not especially likely on Thursday. But a slow-moving downpour, yeah. Not much wind in the atmosphere on Thursday. Same idea Friday. Thursday and Friday are pretty much identical days, I think. Upper 80s for highs, plenty of humidity, a shower and thunderstorm roaming around, especially in the afternoon hours. And yeah, the heat index continues to be a story, kind of like it was today. Now, Wednesday probably not quite as high because, again, it'll be a little bit cloudier, but Thursday and Friday look pretty darn hot, pretty darn humid, and then the heat starts to be trimmed some over the weekend. And I've improved our forecast for the back half of the weekend, Saturday night into Sunday. I think the dew points start coming down, and it won't be as oppressive. In fact, Sunday should end up being a pretty nice day to wrap up the long holiday weekend. I mentioned those slow-moving thunderstorms, the possibility of them anyway, Thursday into Friday. I showed you this last night, but in case you missed it, up at about the 5,000-foot level, there's just not much wind. And really from the ground up through at least 10,000 feet, there's not going to be much wind in the atmosphere to steer these things along, especially Thursday and Friday, a little bit more on Wednesday, but especially Thursday and Friday. Atmosphere is pretty still. So as these things bubble up, they might not be in a big hurry to go anywhere. So even though, again, I'm not real concerned about large hail damaging winds, a flooding downpour or two, I can't rule that out, particularly Thursday and Friday. Now, Saturday, We have a cold front approaching, even though it's a fairly weak one. Elevated chances of showers and storms again. Notice I've upped our overall rain chances Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 40 to 60%, but none of those days will be washouts. And there'll be some sunshine each day as well. Sunday, I've taken it down to 20, and we'll probably end up taking it down to 0 if the forecast trends were to continue. Kind of like this explainer today, in case you missed this on social media earlier. A day like today, we certainly sweat a lot. Our bodies are trying to stay cool. Our bodies like to be right around that magic number of 98.6 degrees. Well, when we're exerting ourselves, or even just barely exerting ourselves outdoors on a hot day, our body temperature rises and sweat is released in an effort to cool down our bodies. It's our internal air conditioner. It's all about evaporative cooling. The sweat that accumulates on your body, we want that to evaporate, and a little layer of cooler air then forms along your skin. It's the same idea with air conditioning in your car or in your house. It's all about water evaporating, and that cools off the air. And it's the same idea with our bodies. Well, when it's really humid outside, when the dew points are elevated, it's much harder for our bodies to produce the kind of the volume of sweat that will evaporate. The evaporative process is hindered by the kind of the atmospheric moisture or the environmental moisture around us, and so we have a hard time staying cooler. That's why you got to stay hydrated and really be careful when it gets really hot and really humid, because while our bodies are going to try, they can't always succeed as easily in cooling ourselves off, especially when it's really, really humid. All right, if you're not a fan of this type of heat and humidity, I've been touching on this week, that mid-July does not look that hot. I think the most consistently hot weather for our region in the month of July is going to be during the first week of the month. Once we get past, say, the middle of next week, past, say, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, right around the 9th, 10th, middle of July does not look exceptionally hot. Now, climatologically speaking, the middle of July is our warmest time of the year, so the averages are up there. So compared to the average, we may be a little below average for a handful of days. Middle of July, that means maybe some days with the 70s. And that's a bargain for mid-July. So something to look forward to if you're not a fan of this type of heat. All right, more updates from me coming this evening on the radar and what you can expect over the next couple of days on social media. Make sure you're following me on Facebook, especially on Twitter, and on Instagram as well. Have a great Tuesday night, everyone.